Hello to everyone. Steve Wiss here, and I'm joined by Ashley Waite here on All Angle Sports Investment. We're ready to preview the Europa Conference League final between Fiorentina and West Ham United. An intriguing looking final ahead. First of all, Ashley, how are you doing? I hope you're well.
Yep, doing well. Ready to go over this match that I'm excited about. I was hoping Fiorentina would get there to the final, and they've made it. So, yeah, excited to watch it, excited to break it down, and already placed a couple of bets. So, I'm going to give you guys some of my leans here.
Do you know what? I think it's a good thing that both teams were in the Conference League right from the start, and it's good to see two teams from that right going to the final rather than a team that dropped down
Yeah.
from Europa League. That never rides well with me. Yeah, we've got a few bets here on the show. We're going to talk about our predictions for the final, things like that. And on the back of a decent enough weekend show as well, there was quite a few winners in that show. A couple of frustrations as well. I know you've been in great form yourself today in personal endeavours.
Yeah.
So confidence high going into this match for you, Ashley.
Yes. Um, and confidence is a big part of betting. I can hit 18 bets in a row, and then if I lose two or three in a row, I start questioning if I still know what I'm doing. Yeah, and you try to take a little bit safer bets. So yeah, I'm kind of gotten more used to it now. I know losses are part of it, but yeah, definitely good form really the last couple of months, but for the last week solidly. So yeah, feeling pretty confident now. If I place a bet, I expect it to hit right now. So
Yeah, confidence is everything in betting. And are you confident you can predict the winner of this Europa Conference League final? Because the bookmakers don't really know who is going to win it. I mean, depending what book you look at, we have different favourites even
right.
for that matter. In general, though, you can get plus 185 on West Ham. This is inside 90 minutes. Plus 185 on West Ham, plus 181 on Fiorentina, plus 220 on the draw. So, which way would you lean here in terms of the 90-minute result if you had to?
Well, the story that the book is telling you there is that's a pretty strong draw line at the plus 220, and they're both about the same price to win. So I think the books are kind of looking at this as a 1-1 type match, and I could kind of see that, which is going to be the reasoning behind my first bet here in a minute. Yeah, both of these teams really they've had some long droughts of since they've won any hardware. I think it's been 20 something years for Fiorentina and 40 years for West Ham, something like that. It's been a long ass time for both of them. So I think they're both hungry, and I think they both come out here. You know, I don't know if gunning for it like it's wide open, but I think these are both capable offenses here. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be a coward and dodge the question. I would just say I'm just gonna go with who I hope wins and say that they'll win. Now I'm gonna take Fiorentina because you know how I love my Serie A boys, but I think it's gonna be very closely contested. I like both these teams. I think both have a good shot at it.
Yeah, I really don't know which way this will go, to be honest with you. I actually think the draw at plus 220 could be the bet in 90 minutes. I said this, didn't I, about Europa League, and that I wish I had
Mhm.
tipped the draw. And I'm probably going to say exactly the same thing tomorrow night. I'll be message you and say, why didn't I tip the draw on the show officially?
Right.
Because it was always going to be such a close game. But I'm not a draw backer. I just don't back draws. It's just not my
Me
style.
neither. I'm not either.
Um, so yeah, I actually hope West Ham win. I can't believe I'm saying that really because I'm
I
never
know you
really.
do because you're EPL and I'm Italy Serie A, so you and I get to go heads up. So we should probably do a little like friendly wager on the side too.
It's, it's not because they're EPL. I don't even really like West Ham that much, but I think there's some. I quite like their journey in this competition. I think probably all you quite like Fiorentina's journey.
Yeah,
David Moyes. I mean, he's had. People can say a lot of things about him, but I think fundamentally he's been a pretty rock solid coach in his career, and it'd be nice to see him win a major trophy. I'm not going to
Yeah.
lie. So yeah, I think it will go to extra time and possibly penalties, and then it's anyone's game.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some bets for the match then.
Just real quick, what you were saying about the draw. I always, because, some people ask me, whether it's on Patreon or just messaging me on social media or whatever, do you like a draw here, a draw there? I don't bet them personally, just like you were saying, but I will tell you that anytime the books have it, the range that I look is, if that draw line is plus 240, and the closer it gets to plus 200, that's a super, super strong draw line. So, yeah, anytime it's plus 240 or lower than that, that's the books kind of, that's what they're expecting. So, that would be the first key that I would look for those of you who like to bet draws, those boring ass draws that I hate.
Yeah, draws don't usually do anyone much good, do they, really?
No, what do? You cheer for this one to score and that one to score, and then it's like, okay, no, nobody else scored, but if the other one scores, you have to cheer for the what? It's just too much of an exact outcome. I don't have time for that much stress in my life. The betting is already a source of so much stress for me. I don't need draws to be bringing any more.
There was an article I did couple of months ago now in one of the early Norwegian games, and I predicted a draw in one of the Lillestrøm matches, and it was a draw heading into injury time, and I didn't have any money on it or anything, but I would have felt really good if it had ended a draw, because if you predict a draw and it comes in, I think it makes someone look pretty good. And then it was a late winner and someone won 4-3, and I literally just switched off in disgust and slammed the table.
Yeah, that's what happens, right? And I've tried it a couple of times, and it's something similar happens. So yeah, no, fuck that. I don't bet those, but there's definitely awful, value in them. They're always at plus money, so if you can pick the right spots, yeah, they're definitely value to be had.
Right, your main play on the game then is going to be a simple one, no complications here. You do have a bet builder coming up soon, but both teams to score yes at minus 115. So tell us why you think this might be a case of perhaps a more open final, or, I mean, all you need is one goal at both ends. So
right.
Is it a statistical sort of play, this, Ash, or are you thinking sort of the pattern of play?
It's both. Like I do have statistics to back it up, because y'all know I'm heavily influenced, or whatever you want to say, by the metrics, right? I rely heavily on metrics for picks, but here is a combination of just I'm pretty familiar with both of these teams and keeping up with them in their leagues. But Fiorentina more, but I've kept up with West Ham a decent amount in this specific competition. So just delving into the numbers, I really like that they back it up. BTDS no also is the same price, by the way, so the books kind of don't know what to do with that either. So yeah, I'm just going to lean to my own, trust my own capping skills here, and say that each of these teams is able to find the net. And when you look at these Fiorentina, they've been the leading scorers throughout this Europa Conference with 36 goals in 14 matches. So that's averaging over 2 a match. And then the team that's in second place with the second most scored is West Ham, right? So we have offensive stats supporting it. And defensively, what I love about it too, because you don't just want 2 really good offenses, because you could have a team with solid defense. Well, we don't have that here, right? So those are the offensive numbers. West Ham have conceded 9 goals in their last 5 matches, and Fiorentina have not kept a clean sheet in their last 5 matches in all competitions. So I don't care to go back any further than 5 matches. History of stuff means nothing to me. I think, we've said it a million times on here, 5 matches is about as far as I like to go back, whether it's heads up or, recent form or whatever. So the fact that neither of these teams are able to keep a clean sheet right now, and they're the number 1 and 2 scoring teams in this conference, in this Europa Conference, yeah, I'm going to say that at this price, I was kind of shocked. I really thought both teams to score would be closer to minus 140, minus 140 to minus 150 range. So yeah, I think it's value at that price with the metrics that I've studied.
I think what you'll see is whenever I've watched Fiorentina games, that they are quite frantic. I think they do try and make matches become more of a shootout, but end to end. West Ham are probably going to try and be more anti-football.
Yes.
Sit back, counter-attack, things like that. David Moyes sometimes can have some horrifically negative game plans, but at the same time, when he lets the dog off a leash, then this team can actually flow. So what you really want in this game, I think it'd be a good watch if this happens, is if Fiorentina score early. I think then we'll get a really good game of football. It could be an over game, anything, 2-2.
Yeah.
If West Ham keep the clean sheet for a long period of time, then Moyes will be more inclined just to keep it that way. So
Right.
I think, a first half goal for Fiorentina would be very good for both betting and actually watching the match as a neutral as well. But I feel like this is a good play. I don't really see it being a 0-0 unless Fiorentina just freeze and just get scared, which I don't think will happen.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that these teams are taking note of just so many of these teams lately in spots, whether it's cup finals or whatever the case is, where they're these relegation promotion battles, where it's the last leg and they're down and they have to score and they're still sitting back like they're defending like they have a lead. I don't understand it. I would fire a manager on the spot for being that just much of a fucking idiot. So yeah, I'm hoping they're learning something from that. Sitting back is just a guaranteed recipe for disaster unless maybe you have the type of defense that Roma usually have, but neither. I do give West Ham the defensive edge like you were alluding to, but I still think Fiorentina have enough firepower to break them down. So
yeah, I think the thing is it's pressure, isn't it, of the situation in the finals. That's why players do weird things. Managers, though, there's less of an excuse because they're on the sideline and they have more of a control with things. Now, normally, you know me, I'd be getting involved with cards and things like that, referees, but I don't like this game.
I was going to ask you about that because you didn't mention anything about that angle like you usually do.
Yeah, it's one of those where the card line's around 4.5 or 5.5. I think you can get an Asian card line of 5, and really in a final it should probably go over. But the referee is a Spanish referee called Carlos Tejero Grande, who he actually has one of the lowest card rates in La Liga this season. He doesn't dish that many out in his own league, and it's even lower in Europe. And maybe that's why he's been given this final, because they think he's not going to lose his cool and things like that. West Ham are generally quite well disciplined. In the Premier League, they haven't picked up many cards. Fiorentina matches do contain a lot of cards, I must admit. So maybe that'll be the case. So I can't make up my mind if the cards line goes over or under. I think I lost. Looking back, I lost on a game, Inter against Benfica. This referee did the game, and he only dished out 3 yellow cards in, I think it was the second leg, which I thought that was really low.
That is low for those two teams. Yeah, that is low.
And I immediately after that game, he went on my suspicious list as a referee. I didn't enjoy his performance. So
is this the same guy you're talking about?
Yeah, this is the same referee. That game.
If he only gave out 3 and a Portuguese side were involved, then yeah, I'd be leery of that too.
I mean, in just looking recently in his matches, 4 of his last 5 La Liga games, he's dished out 3 cards or less. So he's not been in card happy mood. Maybe that'll change in the final. But
can you tell you and I don't like taking unders, because everything you're saying is his cards point to the under. So you're like me. If we don't like the over, we just say to hell with it and move to the next one. It doesn't mean we take the under. That's for sure.
If I had to have my neck on the line, I would go under 4.5 cards in 90 minutes. Not going to lie. But my neck isn't on the line.
No, it isn't.
So it's a no bet in the cards angle. But I do have a couple of picks here. I think it's a really tough game. I'm not going to get heavily involved. So I've gone with 2 players that have shots on target. Both West Ham players. I'm going with Mikel Antonio and Declan Rice. I'll come with Mikel Antonio now. -125 for a shot on target. You can get on him. Look around the books. You might even get a better price somewhere. He's set to start up front. He actually has a great shooting record in the Conference League this season. He averages nearly 2 shots on target per game in Europe. So I don't know whether he just raises his game. Maybe there've been some softer opponents. But I mean, Fiorentina, what's the equivalent of them in a Premier League term? Someone like Villa, or are they as good as that? Or I don't know.
Yeah, I'd probably say something about that.
Someone like Brentford.
I'd give them the nudge over Brentford. I don't know. They're just such different styles. I would say maybe like Aston Villa or something like that.
Yeah, so it's not like, I mean, if you look at Antonio's stats in the Premier League, he doesn't, he's not as efficient in the Premier League with his shots on target, but you'd expect that because, at least 10 or 12 games a year, you're playing against some really, really good defenses on the back foot, because West Ham have been really poor in the Premier League this season, underachieved. So, look, if the main starting striker in Europe, in your first, you're looking to win your first bit of silverware for 30, 40 years, if you can't have a shot on target in a match of this magnitude, then I wouldn't be very happy with my starting striker. So,
yeah,
I don't think it's asking a lot for Antonio to test the keeper at least once in this game.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about that one much, in our little chat before we went live. But I've actually, he must have. I don't know if it's that he stepped up his game, or I've just started paying more attention, because I think that guy's actually worth a sprinkle as a goal scorer. Am I incorrect in saying like he scored a couple of goals recently? Because I remember his name was standing out to me, and I was like, who the hell is this Mikel Antonio guy? So yeah, I think to have a shot on target at that price, if I've noticed his name lately, and I don't pay much attention to West Ham, looks decent to me.
Well, yeah, he is. And this is a massive game for him. He's no spring chicken anymore in terms of footballing years. 33. So he might not ever play in a match of this magnitude again. His recent form has been... He did score against Alkmaar in the semi-final.
Maybe that's where I saw it.
Yeah, he's not had a bad run since sort of mid-April, to be fair to Antonio. I don't actually know what his anytime scorer price is here. I'll find out. But
if it's minus 125 for a shot, it's probably a pretty nice price.
Yeah, for sure. Let's have a look at him here. Yeah, plus 320.
Oh, yeah.
Antonio
that's worth
to score any time. If they do score, he might be the most likely. So that's sort of my main pick on the game. I'm having another shot on target with Declan Rice here at plus 250. Now, this is more of a gut feeling play. It's not often that I'll back these sort of ones, really. I am someone who likes to have a good bit of reasoning for my bet, at least some sort of statistical backup. But as we were talking off air, he's only actually had 8 shots on target in the Premier League this season. So, the chances are he probably won't have a shot on target. But this is maybe his last game for West Ham. He's strongly linked with big Premier League clubs this summer: Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, maybe City.
Yeah.
So he's just too good for West Ham now. He's outgrown the club. So this is his last game. I mean, he bleeds West Ham. So he would be desperate to win the trophy. I think you could look at Rice in like yellow card markets, foul markets. But why not also, maybe he'll try his luck. It would be his dream for them to lift the trophy and for him to score a goal. There was a time he was on penalties for West Ham. He kept missing them. So I don't actually know who would take a West Ham penalty. Probably Ben Rama, I guess.
Yeah,
would take it. But I think Rice might just at some point, if the opportunity sort of opens up, he might think I can go down in a blaze of glory here. I'm not asking him to score. His anytime goal scorer price is pretty big, I think. I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to scroll down the list.
Oh, it'll be huge.
And I still can't find it. Yeah, he's 10 to 1.
Yeah.
10 to 1 to score any time. That might be pushing it too far, but plus 250 for a shot on target. This is maybe a bit of a sentimental, emotional bet of mine here. But sometimes these fairy tales can happen. So at plus 250, just to hit the target, go on Declan, son. As soon as he gets the ball anywhere near the penalty area, I'll be like, shoot, you fucker.
Yeah, and that's the thing about him. He can hit the target from outside the box too. And yeah, I'm hoping that Fiorentina, like you said, if they get a quick one, I think all of these have such a better chance of hitting. So because then the gloves are off, right, and they all just have to come out shooting. Yeah, I love the sentimental aspect. It does matter. Emotions matter. Whether these guys feel like playing a match, God knows that matters because I've bet on so many matches where you can tell they're so lackadaisical and don't give a shit. So yeah, I think that is actually an important factor of it. So.
Hannah Waite says a nice little sprinkle. That sounds like you, Ashley. That's one of your
She has to,
terminologies, isn't
yeah.
it?
She has to hear me say that all day long. I wonder if this is worth the sprinkle. Well, I'm sprinkling that. So,
yeah. Appreciate you tuning in, Hannah, and anyone else that's there. Come and say hello if you watch on YouTube. But the final pick of the show, it's going to be a bet builder from you, Ashley, as I load it up now. It's a plus 120 bet builder in the Conference League final. I put it up on screen there. So for those who are only listening to the show, not watching, Nicolas Gonzalez over 1.5 shots. Arthur Cabral over 1.5 shots. Said Benrahma over 0.5 shots. And Jared Bowen over 0.5 shots. Combine them together and you get in a plus 120 bet builder. So you just need shots here from these players, actually, not anything on target or anything else like that.
Right. Yeah, because I really do shy away from those shots on target. I'll probably say that on every single show, but I'm branching more into the shots. But these seem to do better for me than having to be on target. So with Nicolas Gonzalez for Fiorentina, the numbers are just super, super strong for him. You can actually take him and just add maybe one other thing to it if you want to up your odds. He's not that expensive. But he's actually had at least 2 shots, I believe, in 16 of his last 17 or 17 of his last 18. Basically, the consistency that I'm looking for when you guys hear me mention Federico DeMarco for Inter all the time, right? This guy is hitting at that percentage. So, yeah, 16 of his last 17, he's had at least 2. I'll definitely ride that trend. Cabral, he is the main striker for Fiorentina. So I'll take the main striker of any team that has decent firepower to have 2 shots. So that's kind of, self-explanatory. Benrahma, I do expect him to be on penalty duties for West Ham, but whether he is or isn't doesn't matter to me because this shot's not on target. I actually, even if I were looking at 2 West Ham scorers, would be the Michail Antonio and Benrahma would be the other one that I would sprinkle. So I'll definitely take him to at least have a shot. And then Jared Bowen, he's just a guy that it seems like every time I'm scrolling through looking at stats, that guy's fired off a shot or 2. So I think you could take the first 3 and have a decent price. And I would say I feel the most confident in the first 3, but I still feel confident enough to add Jared Bowen to mine. I do think he gets a shot. And none of them have to be on target, and it's plus money, so it makes me like it even more.
Yeah, I must say Benrahma is usually really good for shots.
Yes,
he's not someone who I particularly rate as an accurate shooter. Most of his shots on target will be from the penalty spot, no doubt, rather than from open play.
Right.
But he averages something like over 3 shots a game, I think, Benrahma.
Yeah, I think you could up
quite
his.
high.
Right, if you're someone who likes to shoot for even more value, I think you could definitely take Benrahma for a 2+ instead of just a 1+. Yeah, he is someone who likes to shoot, and I expect him to shoot here.
Jared Bowen, if he scores, you'll be hearing the brilliant West Ham chant that they have for him, which I'm not sure if you've heard.
Is it as catchy as the Jamie Tart one on Ted Lasso?
It is a really catchy tune, which I'll have to share with you at the end of this game, and it's to do with who he's currently shagging or was shagging.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
It's a great
and
chant.
Effie here said Fiorentina over 1.5 goals. Yeah, Effie, that's definitely tempting, right? With Fiorentina's form. And speaking of West Ham strikers, right? I mean, Nicolas Gonzalez, he's in fantastic form. I can see him netting. Arthur Cabral, could definitely see him netting. So, it's kind of hard to turn down a decent price on Fiorentina, to score twice when West Ham have conceded 9 in their last 5. So I think that's a good look. Effie usually gives pretty solid leans on here. So I don't think a bad bet for this one either. I don't know if all books have it. but several books have like either team to win 2 to 1 at big plus money usually. I don't think that's a bad sprinkle here. There's the word sprinkle again, but yeah, either side 2-1 it's probably at least 3 times your money. I think that's a quite possible outcome. In the most common score line in the sport is 2 to 1. So yeah, that might be a fun little play.
Yeah, your front lawn in your garden must be beautiful looking if you're sprinkling it all day with water or something.
It would be, but we
Ashley.
live in a condo, so I don't have to sprinkle that shit.
Right, yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, I'd be out there drowning those bitches.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, Conference League final, that would do it. Good luck, whatever you're taking. Great little competition, I must say. It's not been my favourite this year because the teams in the last 8 just haven't been. There's not been enough teams that I've known enough about. But I do like the Conference League. I think it's been a brilliant addition actually to UEFA.
I love the conference. I love Europa. I actually enjoy it probably betting wise more than Champions League because I like these little bit lesser known teams anyway betting wise. So I love it. I think this is a great matchup. I'm glad that it's these 2 teams in the final.
And whoever wins it will be in the Europa League next year because there's a spot available to the winner, and neither qualified via their league spots. So plenty at stake, really. But it's the trophy they want because neither of these teams win trophies very often at all.
Right.
So it's a big one going forward. Like I said, best of luck whatever you're taking. Thanks for watching the show, either live or on demand. Hope you've maybe given you a few ideas about this final. And we'll see you again ahead of the weekend because we've got a really even bigger game to preview, the Champions League final, along with some weekend plays ahead. But
correct.
Until then, it'll be goodbye from me, and take care, everyone.
Yeah, good luck to everybody. Looking forward to an entertaining match, and maybe we'll hit some or all of these bets. See you guys later.